Good morning, darling.
Morning. Nice to see you.
Don't come any further.
Oh, I need to.
What? Oh, okay.
Line here.
I'll move it then. Give me a second. I'll change the trajectory.
I did not know the camera's on. Lucky I didn't say anything crazy.
Okay. You should get a turkey sandwich for lunch. Okay, you can do it. They're not going to see you as long as you don't go to the one that's right behind me.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to
Yeah, they can't see you because I'm in the way. Good morning, friends. It's time for book club. Time for book club. Time for book club. Secret Boyfriend's opening all the... Wait, I was just trying to type that I'm also having a turkey sandwich. Oh, really? So maybe I could just feel it in ether. I was like, turkey sandwich kind of day. That's what I said. Morning!
We're gonna have pretzel buns for our turkey sandwiches later.
That's true. We are going to have pretzel buns with our turkey sandwiches. Hey, Liz. Hey, Amber. Hey, B.
Excited.
Very exciting.
It's gonna be tasty.
It's going to be the most tasty.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
So tasty. It's lunchtime for you guys, but it's coffee time for us. Time zones. Wild shit. Hi, Cindy. How was everyone's weekend? What did everyone do? They just delivered catered lunch for us at the hospital. Oh my gosh, you're still there, Liz? What the heck? How's everything going? How's our little man? Is he okay? Yeah, he has pneumonia. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
This kiddo. Gotta stop by for prescription. Hi, Kristen. Working on cleaning my house before Dad comes. Fair. That's totally fair. Time zones are wild, you guys. Supposed to get my order today. Woo! Might go home tonight or tomorrow morning. Oy, I hope it's tonight for your sake. Don't need you guys to be in the hospital any longer than you have to. Poor little guy. He's so little. Except he just got his first big boy haircut. I know, and then he got pneumonia. What a waste of a haircut. I'm kidding. I was trying to make her laugh. You did. I still haven't unpacked for my vacation. I need to do housework, but I don't want to. Fair. We have to do laundry today, and I have to...
We're not podcasting.
Yeah. Well, I'm her podcast right now. They use me as body double sometimes, so later. I think, yeah. Sometimes it's fun to turn on a live instead of a podcast and listen to that, and you can just put on the headphones and do that stuff. Are we having a time change this year? Did they actually get rid of that annoyance? I don't know. They keep saying they're going to get rid of it, and then they keep not. I would hand out candy, but I don't think our neighborhood does that. Because we got signs about other stuff. You need to go live this evening for me.
Like an event where everybody eats out.
Yeah, they have an event, and then they also had door challenges or whatever, like decorate your door. I wonder if they would do that for Christmas. We're gonna crush it at Christmas.
Yeah, no, we have a whole plan.
We're crushing Christmas, you guys. Crush, crush, crush.
We've already started buying.
That's right. Crushing Christmas.
We already bought some stuff, actually.
We sure did. Duolingo is trying to shame me currently. Keep building your 690-day streak with a quick practice of Italian. I know. I will. When I get off the live, I will practice Italian. Calm down. Calm down. Your neighborhood does trunk or treat? That's really cute. Where they put a bunch of candy in your trunk and the kids go around the school parking lot instead of to individual people's houses so it's safer.
What's unsafe about my house?
People are creepy. Literally over $100 worth of candy. We run out. It's ridiculous. You have a big kid neighborhood apparently. Jeez.
What happened to people that...
What? Say it again.
What happened to people in the last 25 years where it's not safe to go to a hospital?
I think it just always wasn't, and it wasn't.
Oh, I think it was.
You do? I don't think it's any less safe. I think people are just more aware of dangers. Making Christmas, making Christmas, making Christmas. Yeah. Well, we live in the suburbs. We don't get any trick-or-treaters, but I'm dressing up and going to a friend's event. That sounds cool. I saw your wig. It's amazing.
What's the costume?
What's your actual costume? She has a rainbow wig. Maybe she's me. Just kidding. She's not me. It was a joke.
What do you mean?
I didn't think she was actually going to dress up as
I
me.
know, it's cute.
I bought some full size off the chance that we get some of the bigger candy for extra effort. Yeah. Your aunt is doing a cool? What does that mean? You're at your parents' new place in Florida? Whoa. Fancy.
Florida, whole part of Florida.
What part of Florida? You would totally dress up as me? That'd be hilarious.
I'm gonna dress up as you. So Halloween.
You want to dress up as me? We can give you the rainbow wig. Sarasota, Florida. No clue if there will be trick-or-treaters,
What
but
part
I
of Florida
reckon.
is that?
Isn't that near Tampa, or did I imagine that?
Okay.
My aunt is coming today, and the kids will trick-or-treat here from PA. Oh, she's coming from PA. Okay, makes sense.
Oh.
I am going over here to the swivel chair. Just stopped in to say hi. Can't say baby has Dr. Probate. Aw, baby Autumn. My current iPhone case is broken, so I have to hold it very carefully, although it does make putting it in the tripod easier. But my loop is broken until tomorrow.
She says she has to hold it carefully. She just means she has to hold it like the rest of us have to hold our phones.
Well, a lot of them have loopies, so not true.
Oh, a lot of. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Becca has the exact same loopy I have. It's okay. A new one's coming in the mail tomorrow. I had ordered it already like last week because I knew that it was going to break. I could feel it coming, but it finally broke yesterday, like late last night. It's because of the tripod. Loopies are very good. It's just the tripod's fault. It's fine. Okay. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say I'm going to have another sip of coffee and then we're going to read a book. I currently have a black one on my phone with candy corn loop and a ghost sticker. Oh, so you do have a different one right now, but you own the same one. But that is very cool. I like that. All right. What chapter are we on? Let's find out. We are on chapter 10, Making Amends. And the picture on this chapter is Alex's unicorn. Cornelius, I think is his name. Yeah, it is. Okay. And I know it's him because he's got a broken horn.
Oh.
I know.
So he's just a horse.
Well, no, he still has a horn. It's just broken.
He's almost a horse.
He's almost a horse. But he's magical.
Uh,
He's a magical horse.
all horses are magical, but
True. But this one's extra magical. All right, making amends. The following morning, Alex was still in the forest the moth had taken her to. She sat on a tree stump and stared at the dry riverbed across from her. The events that had taken place a few decades before constantly replayed in her mind. She was so fixated on them that she hadn't noticed the sun had risen. For months, she had tortured herself with theories to validate what she saw in the fairy palace. She spent hours of each day trying to understand how her wonderful father had become such a monster and been in two places at once. Although it didn't bring her any joy to learn the truth, it was the best answer she could have hoped for. It wasn't her father, but she also hadn't hallucinated either. Shelley said, only Ken thinks that horses are magical. Uh-oh.
what'd she say?
Only Ken thinks that horses are magical.
Just Ken thinks.
Just Ken things. Maybe so your boyfriend is Knuff.
My job is...
Your job is art. Your job is rocks. Alex and Connor had an Uncle Lloyd to be exact, and based on the little she knew about him, Alex couldn't blame her dad and grandma for keeping him a secret. She was very eager to tell her brother what she had discovered, and now that she had confirmed her sanity was intact, it was much easier for her to forgive her brother for not believing her. Perhaps she had expected too much of him. Had the roles been reversed and Connor claimed he saw their deceased father come back from the dead, she probably would have treated him the exact same way that he treated her. Alex was looking forward... My goodness. Alex was looking forward to regrouping with her friends. Goldilocks was right. They worked much better together, and now that she had the answer she had been looking for, she wasn't nearly as worried about her emotions getting the best of her. A stomping sound came from somewhere behind her in the woods. She turned and saw, bless you, a chubby unicorn with a broken horn in the distance. Cornelius? Alex said. Is that you? She was certain it was her old steed. How many misfit unicorns could there really be in the world? Cornelius bucked excitedly when he saw her, but then ran in the opposite direction. Well, that was strange. A few minutes later, Cornelius came racing back, galloping faster than any horse. The unicorn wasn't alone. A very handsome young man with wispy hair was riding on Cornelius's back. Rook? Alex said. What are you doing with Cornelius? He was the last person she expected to bump into in the woods, but Rook was overjoyed to find her. Alex, he said, Cornelius and I have been looking for you everywhere. She knew why the rest of the world was searching for her, but Rook's motives were a mystery. What for? It's a long story, but we've been following the masked man, he told her. We know where he's been hiding. Alex's heart began to race. She prayed he wasn't mistaken. But we've been looking for him for months. How did you find him? Cornelius and I have been trailing him, Rook explained. We figured it wouldn't hurt to have 2 more men on the job. We weren't going to bother you unless we found something worth bringing up, but a few days ago we saw him running through Dwarf Forest. We followed him and we found a cave that he's been living in. Rook, that's amazing, Alex said. Where's the cave? Northwest, between the Elf Empire and the Northern Kingdom, he said. He retrieved a folded paper that was stuck in his boots and handed it to her. Here, this map has the exact whereabouts. Alex looked it over. Rook had circled the exact spot in the northern mountains where the cave was located. There's something else you should know, Rook said, and his tone became much more serious. We've checked on the cave yesterday to make sure he hadn't moved. His mask was gone, but he has a large bag of books with him now. One by one, he took a book out and laid it open on the ground. And then he poured this strange liquid from a blue bottle. It made the books glow, and then he disappeared inside them. What kind of books? What?
So I know that game.
You do? You poured blue liquid on a book and then disappeared inside it?
Yes.
What book?
Don't judge me. The Bible.
Outrageous. Outrageously false.
What?
You poured blue liquid on the Bible and then disappeared into it?
I could have.
You didn't.
Prove
I can't prove it. What kind of books did he do this to? Alex asked anxiously. He must have found the collection he was after. Rook closed one eye as he remembered. They were really specific titles. I had never heard of them before, he said. The first one was called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He spent a couple hours inside that one, and then he returned from it soaking wet. A giant tentacle came out after him and tried to pull him back inside, but he managed to shut the cover and it went away. The second book was called The... Becca said he must have a lot of trauma from that experience.
Oh, yeah. It was rough.
The second book was called The Jungle Book. He was assigned that one only for a few minutes before he crawled out with scratches all over his body. Alex covered her mouth. She never expected the masked man to be after literature from the other world. No wonder he had such a hard time locating the collection. The third book was about a wonderful warlock of some kind. I don't know, Rook said. He was from a place with 2 letters. I think it started with O.
You mean Oz? Alex asked. He went inside the Wonderful Wizard of Oz? Yeah, that's the one. How long did he stay inside? Well, he's still there as far as I know, Rook said. He traveled into it a few hours before sunrise, and then he took the whole bag of books with him. Cornelius and I have been searching for you all morning. We didn't want to do anything until we found you. It's a miracle we did. Alex was so enthralled that she was shaking. I've got to find my brother. Thank you so much, Rook. She gave him a huge hug and kissed him on the cheek, but as soon as she did, she regretted it. She pulled away from him and he blushed. It was insensitive of a thing for her to do, given their history. You could have been killed, she said. Why would you risk going after him? Rook was shy about telling her, but he forced himself to. I'm just trying to make amends for hurting you. I'll never stop caring about you, Alex. Alex appreciated it, but it didn't change how she felt about him. During the war with the Grand Armée, Rook knowingly put the world at risk to save his own loved ones. She understood that he'd been thrown into a terrible situation and just did what he thought was right, but it was still difficult to forgive him. Unfortunately, Alex's world was filled with terrible situations and difficult decisions, and she had to trust anyone who came close to her unconditionally. Unfortunately, Alex's world was filled with terrible situations and difficult decisions, and she had to trust anyone who came close to her unconditionally. Oh, I read it right. Okay. And just like her brother had feared, she didn't think that she would ever find someone she was comfortable enough to share that burden with. Well, don't waste any more time on my account, Rook said. Go, find your brother. Alex gave Cornelius a hug and left the forest. She headed for the Center Kingdom, hoping her brother and her friends were still there. Connor was lying in a bed at the guest room of the Center Kingdom castle. Hageta sat by his side, setting his injuries ablaze with the flames of her healing magical fire. Goldilocks and Jack stood over his bed, very intrigued by the process. Thank you for coming, Hageta, Connor said. This sure beats waiting for everything to heal naturally. Well, if it only healed wounds of the heart, too, Hageta said. How's Red holding up? Goldilocks sighed. She won't eat or come out of her room. Good news. The kingdom felt so sorry for Red that she's been re-elected as queen in Froggy's absence, Jack said. I can't believe he left her at the altar, Connor said. That doesn't sound like the Froggy that we know. He's overcome the curse, but not the spell that she cast over him, Hageta said. I hate to say it, but he did the right thing. Marina's a very powerful witch, and she's infamous for the grudges she keeps. He probably saved Red's life by leaving with her. She raised a burning stick towards Connor's black eye, but he held up his hand to stop her. No, I kind of want to keep that one, he said. It makes me look kind of tough. Hageta applied the flames anyway, and the bruising disappeared within seconds. She looked over his injuries one last time and shook her head. I don't understand what kind of father would do this to his own son. You're positive the masked man is your father? Jack asked. Connor nodded. I feel so ashamed of myself. I know Alex better than anyone. Of course she was telling the truth. She wouldn't have believed it herself unless she was absolutely sure of what she saw. I should have supported her more. What kind of brother am I? There was a flash of bright light, and Alex appeared in the middle of the room. It gave everyone a fright, and Connor almost fell out of the bed. I don't know when you learned to do that, but I really wish that you wouldn't, he yelled. Wait, Alex? You're here. Oh, thank God. We have so much to tell you. Alex was so glad that she caught Connor and their friends together. I have so much to tell you. Where are Froggy and Red? Did they already go on their honeymoon? They exchanged depressed looks, and Alex knew something was horribly wrong. Connor, you're hurt, Alex said, noticing the patches of flames covering his body. What happened? Goldilocks broke the bad news to her. Shortly after you left, a witch named Marina came storming into the wedding and threatened to curse Red unless Froggy left with her. What? Alex said, but why? Who's this witch? She's the witch who cursed Froggy to look like a frog all those years ago, Hageta said. It must have infuriated her that he found happiness despite his appearance, something she could never achieve. But the Fairy Council was there. Why didn't any of them stop her? Alex asked. The Charming Kings tried, but he wasn't being kidnapped, Jack said. There wasn't anyone or anything that could be done. He left of his own free will to protect Red. Alex couldn't believe it. She had missed all of this, but she was glad that she left the wedding when she did. Had she stayed, she definitely would have lost control of herself and done something that she regretted. Connor, please tell me that you injured yourself trying to fight her off, she said. Huh. Just wait, the story gets better, Connor said sarcastically. While all of this was happening, I came back to the castle because I had forgotten the rings. I caught the masked man. Oh yeah? Remember him? Yeah, stealing the books from the library. I told him that I was going to hold him down and he attacked me. And I yanked his mask off just before he left and I saw his face. You were right, Alex. It's Dad. I'm so sorry I never believed you. Alex shook from side to side and looked from side to side uneasily. Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it's okay, Alex, Connor said. We all know that you're not crazy or confused. We believe you now. I saw him with my own eyes. Dad's alive, and he's been wreaking havoc on the fairy tale world. It's my fault for not trusting you from the beginning. Why are you looking at me like that? She didn't seem nearly as relieved to hear this as he had expected. Instead, Alex just nodded along impatiently, waiting for him to stop apologizing to her. First off, thank you so much for your trust. I really appreciate it, she said. But I was wrong. The masked man is not Dad. It's Dad's brother. I just found out about him. Connor raised an eyebrow. Who told you that? Well, she said, not knowing how to describe what she'd experienced. A moth told me. Connor squinted his eyes at her and his mouth fell open. He was expecting a much better answer than that. A moth told you? Yes, but it wasn't a regular moth. It was more like an angel. An angel moth. Well, it came from somewhere in the stars. I think Grandma sent it. Grandma sent you an angel moth from outer space? Kind of. Anyway, the moth took me to a forest and then turned a bunch of orbs into things that recreated a memory. And stop looking at me like that, Connor. The point is I'm trying to tell you that the masked man is not our dad. The others looked back and forth to the twins like they were watching a tennis match. It was almost absurd, the conversation. It was the most absurd conversation they had ever heard. Guys, Connor said to them, I take back everything I said before. I think Alex has lost her mind, and I might be next. Hold on a second, Alex said, crossing her arms. You just said you should have believed me from the beginning. Why don't you believe me now? Because you sound ridiculous, he said. Alex closed her eyes and made a fist with both hands. Connor, who cares how I found out? The masked man is actually our Uncle Lloyd. Grandma had 2 sons. It's about time you figured that out, a voice shouted that didn't belong to anyone in the room. Mother Goose suddenly appeared outside the window, flying on Lester's back. The gander knocked the window open with his beak and flew into the room and landed with a thump. Alex is right, Connor, Mother Goose said as she climbed off Lester's back. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for you to put the pieces together. You've known this entire time? Alex asked. It was your grandma's dying wish that I not tell you, she said. I swore to her that I would keep this from you, and that's one of the reasons I've been keeping such a low profile. I knew that if I hung around with you kids while you looked for him, I'd let it slip eventually. Thankfully, the rooster's out of the hen house now. The twins wanted to choke her for keeping this information from them yet again, but they knew that Mother Goose cherished their friendship with their grandmother too much to break her promise. Does anyone else know about our uncle? Alex asked. I mean, like, in the fairy council. They must have known that Grandma had 2 sons. Well, it's complicated, Mother Goose said. When Lloyd was a teenager, he ran away from the fairy palace and your grandmother told the council that he was dead. She even staged a funeral that the council attended. She didn't see him until years later on the first night that he broke into the palace to steal their potion. The fairy godmother received an anonymous letter that warned her he was coming for it, so she was expecting him. Thanks to the Hall of Dreams, she already knew what he was planning to do with the potion, so she sent him to life in Pinocchio prison. She gave him that mask to wear so no one ever knows that he was her son. I think your alarm's going off. The story of the masked man was getting more complex as time went on, and there were so many things that they didn't know. Mother Goose, do you know where he's been hiding? Jack said. I don't, but Alex does, Mother Goose said. Alex's old squeeze found her in the woods, and he told her that Lloyd has been hiding in a cave. Everyone jerked their heads towards Alex. They couldn't believe that it had taken this long for one of them to bring it up. Wait, how do you know that? Alex said. I've been following you since the moth showed up, Mother Goose said. And yes, Connor, there really was a moth. And yes, your grandmother did most likely send it from wherever she is. I wish she'd sent a letter instead. Giant insects give me the creeps, no matter how angelic they are. Will one of you just tell us where he is already? Connor yelled. Alex filled the others in about her encounter with Rook and Cornelius in the woods. She told them everything Rook told her, and what he had witnessed. Those are the books that I caught him. Those are the books I caught him stealing, Connor said. Grandma gave Froggy the books as a thank you for helping us survive our first trip into this world, Alex said. They must have been the collection our uncle was asking the witches to help him find. He must have found them on his own and stole them whenever everyone in the castle was at the wedding. So the army he's planning to recruit isn't one from one story, Connor said. He gasped as he remembered something he and his sister had seen several months earlier. At the time, it seemed meaningless, but now he knew that his uncle's plan was significantly spookily significant. Alex, do you remember in his cell in Pinocchio prison? Connor asked. He had all those strange carvings on the wall of monsters and pirates and soldiers. Now, thinking about the books that he has in his possession, he's planning to recruit an army of literary villains. It was an unsettling thought for everyone. The damage the masked man could cause if he unleashed an army like that onto the world would be catastrophic. There wouldn't be a force powerful enough to stop it. All the armies in all the fairy tale worlds were still recovering from the war with the Grand Armée. So what's the plan? Jack asked. How do we stop him? We need to go into the cave, Alex said. We'll wait for him to go into a book, if he's not already inside one, and then we'll destroy it. That should trap him inside it forever, right? Well, according to the rules of your grandmother's potion in the journal, it should, Goldilocks said. She made it very clear to be protective of the book. It's the only way in and out of the story. Great, Alex said with a sigh of relief. Getting rid of her uncle might be easier than she expected. Then we should just hurry. Everyone seemed convinced except for Connor, who shook his head. Alex, you're forgetting one thing, he said. What's that? We need the masked man to clear your name, he said. The only way we'll be able to prove to the Fairy Council that you've been right all along is if they see him with their own eyes. They need to admit they were wrong for doubting you and reinstate you as fairy godmother. Connor, I don't care about being fairy godmother, but I do, he said. You were born to lead and protect and help the people of this world, and you can't do that if you spend the rest of your life in hiding. You and I both know that if this world gets left to the council alone, it's going to fall apart. Alex was very touched by her brother's words, but she couldn't ask them all to put themselves in danger for the sake of her reputation. However, as Alex looked around the room, she saw that it wasn't up to her. Everyone was nodding in agreement with Connor. He's right, Goldilocks said. We have to capture your uncle and bring him back, even if it means going into the books ourselves. We're going inside those books ourselves, Mother Goose said, and everyone turned to her at once. Sorry, that wasn't an objection. It would be very adventurous, I guess, even for this group. Their support almost moved Alex to tears. In less than a day, she'd gone from feeling like the loneliest person in the world to the luckiest. All right, I'm assuming everyone's in? Connor asked. He put his hands in the middle of the group, and one by one the rest of them joined him. Even Lester stuck the tip of his wing in. Well, to the cave, Jack said. And beyond the kingdoms, Goldilocks added. There was a soft knock on the bedroom door. It opened, and everyone was happy to see Red standing in the doorway. Her eyes were swollen from crying, and she held a handkerchief tightly in her hand. I couldn't help overhearing, Red sniffled. I'm not positive where you're planning to go, but I hope you'll let me come along because I could really use an adventure right now. Poor Red. Of course we'll let her come along. Poor Red. That was a great chapter. We got a lot of really good characters that we love. I love to see it. All right. That is that. I am off. We're going to eat breakfast, and then I am going to do many a work thing. I know, poor Red is so heartbroken. It's so sad, but you can't blame her for being heartbroken, right? I mean, he literally left her at the altar. Like, that's literally the worst.
He left her at the altar because she was going to die otherwise.
No, I know. I understand.
I don't understand that at all.
What?
It's baffling.
What do you mean?
But the person came in and threatened basically to kill Red unless he went with her.
Yeah.
And nobody stopped her because
she's too powerful of a witch.
Choice.
But she's too powerful of a witch.
Everybody treats it like he had a choice. He didn't have a choice.
No, he didn't have a choice. No, I think everybody knows that. That's why no one's mad at him. Everyone's just like heartbroken.
They keep on saying, what can we do? He went with her.
Yeah. What do you think they should do?
I don't know. I don't know the characters that well, but the way they phrase it every time is weird to me. Because he didn't have a choice.
That's right. He didn't have a choice. He was saving
That's
Red.
not what they say every time, though.
Well, that's how they described it to Alex. They said she's a very powerful witch and he did it to save Red.
Yeah, but they also said he went there of his own free will.
He did, technically. His free will to save Red.
Okay. It feels confused.
All right, I will see you guys later. If you are a Patreon person, expect like 17 updates today. There's so much going on. All right, bye guys.